y'all, welcome back to Sub and Serve. I'm your host, Sophie Arrington, and today we have another wonderful guest with us, Saydee. How are you, Saydee?
Hi, I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. Would you like to do an introduction to our audience before we start?
Sure. Well, hey y'all. It is so awesome to be here on Sew and Serve with Sophie, and I'm just excited to get into it.
Yes, absolutely. Before we start, we have three rapid fire questions. To
Okay.
get started, what is your favorite FFA contest to compete in?
My favorite FFA contest to compete in is poultry valuation. It's the only contest I've competed in because it's been my favorite. Just competing in poultry, and so my first time I competed in poultry, it was just one semester of practicing and then going through competition. My team placed first in the district with three new members, and I was awarded the highest scoring individual, and I was like, no way. My jaw dropped to the floor, and I was like, there's no way. Like, what?
That's awesome. So what about the contest do you like? What's your favorite part about the contest?
My favorite part of the contest, let's see. Honestly, just putting what we learned and putting what we learned into practice. Just being able to evaluate the birds the same way that we did in practice and really putting our game face on and just working really hard to compete.
Yes, absolutely. I've never competed in that, but our chapter competed in that this year, and I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
And what's a fun fact about yourself that most people don't know?
Well, my fun fact about myself is that I have a really long middle name. It is Aulele Lehuamamo. So I'm Hawaiian, so just it definitely trips a lot of people up and a lot of people will butcher it, so definitely a fun fact.
That's awesome. And last but not least, what is a funny FFA memory that you think of a lot?
A funny FFA memory that I'll think of. Let's see, there's so many. Okay, during one of our chapter meetings, we were doing opening ceremonies, and my vice president, he was doing his part and just saying the vice president's part, and then he started saying the part of the president. I looked at him, I was like, no way, and it was just something that we all laughed
Yeah.
at during opening ceremonies and just laughed at after. So definitely a funny memory.
Yes, I love it. So, what I love asking people about how their FFA journey begun. So, tell me about what originally pulled you into FFA and how your journey has been in the jacket.
Well, originally, I don't come from a traditional ag background, and I'm actually from a military family, so no ag background, no FFA background, and just joining FFA, I wanted to find somewhere that I belonged and find something that I really enjoyed. And just joining FFA just really ignited a spark in me with just knowing that there's so many people who believe in me to do immense and big things, and also just the family that we have in FFA and just my journey in the FFA jacket, competing for the first time and winning a high scoring individual, and just knowing that there was so much more for me in that, which is what also led me to run for a chapter officer position and then also run for state office. And unfortunately, I wasn't selected for it this year. But just during that whole entire process of just competing, running for an officer position, just I've learned so much and just have become a different person just by the people that I've met, the lessons that I've learned, and just it is an awesome experience just in the Blue Jacket.
Absolutely, I love that. And yes, the people in this organization are always so amazing. So, tell me about your SAE, your Agriculture Communications. Sadie has a podcast as well, the FFA
Yes.
Frequency. So, tell me how it
Yes.
started.
Absolutely, like you mentioned, it's called the FFA frequency. Just I had two other SAEs before I started my podcast, which was poultry production and food service. And then I wanted to do something that was really fun and really unique that no one in my chapter has ever done before. So I went to my advisor. I was like, "What if I started a podcast?" He was like, "That would be a great idea." It's like, "Okay, bet, let's do it." And so, just coming up with the name FFA Frequency, I wanted to find so many things that really mesh together, and I didn't want to seem like I was copying other names for other podcasts. So, just FFA Frequency, I wanted to keep FFA in the name of it, but just finding something that had to do with podcasts, just frequency rolled right off the tongue. And just in this podcast alone, I've gained so much knowledge and so much like skills either from my communication skills to organization skills, discipline, and just the people that I've met and interviewed, amazing people, whether if it's from my chapter or from state officers around the country or even some national officers, their stories are so unique and so different that it's so cool to see that with so many different stories that the Blue Jacket could just bring us all together.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the same with me. Yes, I love hearing about your podcast and watching it. It's so awesome. I think what you do is absolutely amazing. So, can
Thank
you
you.
walk me, of course, can you walk me through how you prep for an episode and how you upload it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I try to find people I've never been in contact with, or maybe I've had a little bit of contact with, and just say, "Hey, how would you feel about being interviewed?" And then I will explain to them how I run my episodes and just go along the lines of prepping questions. I prep maybe 4 to 5 questions for an interview and just relating to if I know a little bit about them, relating to what I know about them, or just it could be questions from what's your favorite food to what's your favorite FFA memory. And then after creating questions, I go on to interview them. We spend maybe 10 to maybe 30 minutes, depending on the person I'm talking to. And after I interview them, I will edit episodes and place pictures that relate to what they have said or just relate to who they are as a person, and just edit those and make sure it flows smoothly. And post it on my Instagram page. And hopefully, really soon, I'm trying to figure out some new ways where I can upload my podcast on. Hopefully, it'll be Spotify really soon. So, yeah.
Yes, that will be awesome. I'll definitely be tuning in if you upload on Spotify. So, tell me about your other two SAEs that you mentioned earlier.
Well, my first SAE was poultry production, and that's also what led me to want to compete in poultry. In an ag class, we would have chickens in an incubator, and my us as a class, we would take care of them from day one, watching and seeing how they grow in the incubator and just watching them hatch. And there's just nothing like watching chickens hatch. It's so awesome to see that and just being able to take care of them until we have to give them to a local farmer so that they can take care of it themselves. And just watching that, taking care of them, and making sure they have food and water and make sure they live in a clean environment. It actually has taught me better to take care of animals than I can take care of plants because I could not take care of a plant at all. So,
Yes,
yeah.
the exact same way.
And my food service SAE, I worked with a catering business for a little bit, and just working with that business is what taught me how to really care for food safely and just also talk to people and just work on communication skills, talking to so many different people.
I love your SAEs and everything that you do. How has your perspective on agriculture evolved since joining FFA? Like you mentioned before, you didn't come from an agriculture background, so from joining this organization, what has your perspective changed?
Well, in agriculture, it is so cool to see how there's so many people with different backgrounds and there's so much diversity. It's so cool to see people like me who have a non-traditional ag background get into the industry and that they can do the same things that people who have been in ag for maybe generations to come, just showing that we can all work together.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And what is a topic on agriculture that you can talk for hours about?
Let's see, there's so many. Okay, here in Alabama, I would say agriculture is really diverse. So we have, I believe, is 1.3 million head of cattle on Alabama farms, and I live in a 100-mile radius of all the peanuts grown in the United States. So being able to say that where I live is where all the peanuts are grown in the United States, that people who have maybe live in Oregon can get peanuts from Alabama. So just really the diversity in Alabama.
Yes, that's insane. Well, I did not know that. What is one thing that you learned about yourself through FFA?
What I learned about myself through FFA is that it is okay to be scared sometimes and that it's okay to not know things that other people may have known, that it's okay to learn something that you may not have learned. And just being able to have that perspective and have that mindset is that you can learn anything and that your only competition is yourself and that it's only up to you to get out of your comfort zone to just figure out what you love or just figure out what you need to know.
Absolutely, I agree. It's just making those all opportunities from where you're at.
Yes.
Absolutely. And actually, this next question ties kind of into what you talked about earlier. What's a fun fact about the state of Alabama in agriculture or in FFA?
Like I mentioned, I would say that one of the facts about Alabama agriculture, like I mentioned, is that we live in a 100-mile radius of where all the peanuts are grown. And also where I live, we have the Boll Weevil Monument. I'm not sure if you heard about the Boll Weevil, but It had came from Mexico, I believe, and that it had ate all the farmers' cotton, which led them to want to change to growing to peanuts. So just a lot of row crops around here.
That's interesting. I did not know
Hmm.
that. You just graduated high school. Are
Yes.
you thinking about going to college, or what's your next step?
Absolutely, yes. I'm actually going to attend community college in the fall to just get my basics and really figure out what college is like. And then I'll transfer to Auburn University to pursue a degree in agriculture communications.
Oh, well, that's awesome. And
Yes.
what do you plan to do with that? Are you have you thought of anything yet?
Hmm. I want to work with FFA and just with the agriculture communications degree, I want to work with either the state association or even with national FFA. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. I can only trust in what the Lord has, so just wanting to work with what FFA has for students.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's incredible. Yes. And last but not least, what's one message you want every FFA member listening today to hear?
One thing that I want FFA members to hear is that don't be afraid to try what's uncomfortable. Don't be afraid to be uncomfortable because in that uncomfortableness, not sure if that's a word, but you may really find what you truly love and also the people will guide you and be there for you and support you and that just find your community and find what you love and just no matter what it is, don't give up because you could be right at your goal if you just keep going.
Absolutely. I love that. That is touching. Thank you, Sadie, so much for joining us. I've had a blast
Absolutely.
talking with you and get to know you.
Absolutely. Yes, me too.